Hello, everybody. Okay, so we've got load shedding again. The power will come on in about half an hour's time, maybe less. Then we will be back in action, and I'll be able to put the screen on and actually see what's going on myself. Welcome, everybody, for joining me tonight. I'm so glad to be back again. It's been really good for me to just take some time out and disconnect from everything. I basically had my phone, the Wi-Fi and stuff off every day, basically. Yeah, and I would highly recommend that everybody takes some time every now and then just to disconnect from everything and just be with yourself a little bit and do what you need to do to recharge and get back to yourself. So after some much needed rest last week, I'm back. I'm happy to be back. I feel ready for it. And I'm very, very thankful for everybody that's joined me here tonight. And I've also had a lot of time to think. And one of the things that I just want to express tonight is that I am really, really grateful, not only to be able to follow my life's purpose, but also that I have really, really amazing clients. I have the best clients, truly, honestly. And yeah, I'm feel really blessed to have so many wonderful people in my life who are just wonderful human beings. So thank you very much for every single one of you. And yes, if it's your first time, welcome. I hope that you're ready for some questions or to get some healing or to get your vibrations raised, whatever it is that you've come here for. I would like everybody to maybe just take some time now just to set an intention for what you would like to get out of tonight's session. So just take 2 minutes or a minute, close your eyes, take a deep breath, breathe in the good, breathe out the bad, breathe in what serves you, breathe out what doesn't serve you, and then just take a few seconds just to think to yourself what it is you want out of this session and put it out there. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting to see if anybody else is going to join us. Oh, yes. If you are new and you would like to get your questions answered, please type in 3 pink hearts into the chat box. We already have our first 3 people. Hello, everybody. Good evening to all of you. Hi. I'm looking over there because my screen is off. Yeah, so to get your questions answered, 3 pink hearts and a chat box. And also, please type who you would like me to channel and what your question is. And then I will do my best to allow whoever you've asked me to channel to come through. I only do beings of love and light. I work in the light. That is my part of my purpose here. So I do see myself as a light worker. And, if that's not for you, then this probably isn't for you. Then again, maybe give it a try. Maybe it is. So, yeah, I allow the being to come through and to speak through me. During the process, my eyes are closed, and it just helps me to focus. Yeah, and it's basically, as another channeler put it, I don't remember his name now, but what we do as channelers is we are basically like it's almost like we're a broadcasting device, biological broadcasting device. So whoever wants to speak through us, we just make a little bit of space. In my case, I'm still conscious. I'm still aware of what's going on. I don't relinquish full control of my body. And as most of the higher dimensional beings speak telepathically, They don't use, for the most part, when this communication happens, it happens telepathically. So they're using my knowledge and my language base, what I have. So my personality, what I know, will probably still come through because they use what I have to communicate with you. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, that's how it works. Okay, and I'm also conscious part of the time because I'm have a strong clairvoyant ability. So sometimes they show me images to share with you, and so we can find some deeper meaning. Okay, and joining me as always is my husband, Anthony Graham.
Hello, everyone.
And he's just going to be checking the questions, everybody's questions, and so that I can stay in trance. And so he's just here to assist me. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to begin.
We are.
It's good to be back. All right.
Okay, first one is White Rabbit.
White Rabbit.
Higher self, please.
Okay. Okay. It's taking a moment just to put myself into trance. Thank you for all the angels and all the beings that are holding space and protecting every single person. Thank you for all the higher selves that are here tonight joining us. And thank you for all the beings of love and light, spirit guides, ancestors, everybody that has joined us here tonight. Got a huge crowd here tonight. Okay. Hi, I am here. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anthony.
Hello.
Hi, Maria. I'm here and happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Okay, Maria wants to know, was the conflict between me and my aunt meant to happen? And what are the lessons what lessons do I have to learn from it?
Yes. It is true to say, one can say that it did not necessarily have to happen, but in this case, it had the best, it would have had the best outcome. So therefore, this event, you attracted this event to you because of what your higher self, me, and you still need to learn. Not just me as part of you, but also you in your physical body and your ego. So this still is something that needs to be learned. And you did marvelously well. Of course, nobody's perfect. And even though the situation, as with many other confrontational situations, could always have been handled better, you did really, really well. And you should be very, very proud of yourself. You are growing, and that's kind of the point. It's part of the lesson is for you to see how far you've come and how much you've grown, and for you to be tested in what you've learned so far. So it's kind of like a test, and you did really well. So could it have happened in another way? Quite possibly, but this was a very good way to test you and for you to really just look back and see how much you've learned and how far you've come. So well done. You passed with flying colors.
She's got a follow-up question to that. She says, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do in particular in order to have done well?
Well, you stayed a lot calmer and used your higher mind as opposed to just going into lower vibrations. So even though in some ways you feel like you failed because you did still succumb to your anger a little bit, and you did still get emotional at some point, you were able to keep a lot calmer than you would have before. So the important thing here, the tests that happen with people, it's important to understand that this test, the only person you can compare yourself to here is yourself. So how would you have handled this in the past? If you can compare this event to past confrontations with your family, can you see the difference? Can you see how far you've come? So that is basically what it's about, that you have grown, that you're able to use your higher mind a lot more than you used to be able to. And that is the lesson. Does that make sense?
We'll see if she comes back with an answer. She has another question regarding, she wants to know if her mosquito bites are karmic.
Mosquito bites are one of those things. It is kind of, so everybody suffers from a mosquito bite now and then. Everybody gets insect bites now and then. It's part of living in this dimension, is that you're going to interact with other beings, and insects are also other beings. But there are people that perhaps experience more of this, not just with mosquitoes specifically, but maybe with other types of insects. Some people get bitten more than other people. It is kind of similar in the other lessons that you're learning right now, and that is patience. So karmic, yes and no. No, because it is part of this world and is part of your experiences here, and it is just another thing that is used to help teach you patience and to help you to learn to breathe, calm yourself, and transcend that irritation, that state of irritation, that sensory experience. So it's something for you to get above. That is the work that needs to be done here. That's the lesson that needs to be done here. So if anybody else here also has a similar problem, that is the reason why those kinds of things happen. So the type of sensory input that you're getting here that you find very irksome and irritating, the whole reason why you're getting that sensory input is precisely because it is something that you are highly irritated by. You do not like your skin to be affected by things, and that is why the skin was the target. Anthony, for example, is very noise sensitive, and he is constantly surrounded by noise that is difficult for him to handle. But the reason why that keeps happening is because that's something that he needs to transcend and grow from. So whatever the sensory experience is that you suffer from, whichever person is listening, whichever other people are maybe listening as well and can learn from this, those things that are particularly difficult for you, it's kind of in two parts. On the one side, you're attracting it to you because you're thinking about how negative it feels and how much you don't like it. So in that sense, you're actually attracting it to yourself because you're thinking about it. And especially in that negative sense, negative vibrations can be quite strong. But also to teach you to get above it and to get beyond it. In terms of it being the part of it that is related to your karmic journey is precisely the reason why you need to learn the lesson. So that is what's connected to the karmic part, not the mosquito bites themselves, but rather why you keep being tested with these specific lessons. Why do these kinds of lessons keep coming up? What is the pattern? So that is where the pattern comes from, not from the mosquito bites themselves, or not the mosquitoes, the animals themselves. I hope this makes sense.
Thank you. She did say that the previous stuff made sense to her, and now she's got a last question for you. She says, I keep feeling urged to be around that specific aunt's son, but why is that? Is it a bad thing?
No, it is not a bad thing. It is because he has something to learn from you and you have something to learn from him. It is also for you to learn to communicate in such a way with each other that, and that's part of the lesson that you're both learning. He needs to learn to communicate in a different way, and you need to learn to communicate in a different way, because you are going to be faced with many different kinds of people in your life and in your purpose work that you're going to be doing. So you are being presented by many different kinds of people to learn to communicate with. And people have different communication skills, and people have different filters which affect their communication. So you both have to learn from each other in this way. So it's very important that you focus on what type of language you use when you are speaking to this cousin of yours, and really very important to always speak from that place of love. As you know, that is that in that way it will be received in the best way. So whatever it is that you feel prompted to say, and again, yes, you might be surrounded by a lot of lower vibrational energies, but your vibrations have raised, so you have come a long way. You have to trust that inner voice, and you have to trust that part of yourself, and get yourself into that state where you can open your heart space and speak from there, and not just in 3D. But it's also important to note that with some people that you communicate with many people, in fact, that you might come across, because their vibrational level is not where your vibrational level is, you do have to come down to their level a bit. So you can help raise people up, not necessarily with knowledge, with what you're saying, not with the what that you're saying, but the how. And so you have to lower yourself a little bit in, and it's not about really lowering your vibrations, but really more about integrating that higher vibrations into 3D. So when you can balance the 5D and the 3D, then you can interact in 3D while using the higher vibrational loving heart space energy. So as has been mentioned before, a 4D or a higher 4D is a good place to be in, so that you can communicate both with a higher 5D and with a lower 3D. So that is part of what you need to learn as well. Is really in learning to integrate and balance the different energies, so that you can be relatable, and so that the people whom you need to teach and help can relate to you, but also so that you can lift them up to a certain extent. And as I said, you're also going to learn from him. And this is usually the case. When we teach, we learn. Okay, we can learn from all kinds of people, not only higher vibrational people, not only higher vibrational beings. We learn from any situation or being around us.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for choosing to speak to me. You're doing very well. Keep it up. And just believe in yourself. Don't doubt yourself.
She says, thanks so much. Makes sense.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, the light's on.
Yes, the lights on.
Okay. Cool. Maybe I can switch the screen on quick. Just a second. Awesome. There we go. Ta-da! And can I move over? Or not?
You can if you really want to.
Do you want it there? That's fine.
Leave it.
All right. That's fine. Who is next?
Next is Viola.
Viola.
She wants to
Beautiful Viola.
speak to Matt.
Okay. Okay, Matt is here. I just want to see if I can strengthen the connection with Matt because he is a bit further away than usual because he's receiving healing. And I say further away, not in physical time and space, but more in a energetic way. So I might have to interpret, but I just want to see if I can strengthen the connection a little bit more with Matt. Hello, my love. I'm here. Hello, everybody else.
Hi. Viola would like to know, she asks, is everything going to work out for me? And did I do the things right?
Yes, you're doing very, very well. You just need to keep believing in yourself and keep going. As long as you ignite that fire again and work through your passionate, loving heart, things will move forward as they are supposed to. Thank you very much for taking care of my mom and for making sure that she is provided for. Yes, you have done everything really well, and just as long as you keep following your heart and you think, or you use your intuition and not only your analytical mind, it's really important to use a combination of the two, and you've done that very well so far. Very important just to keep that balance between your higher mind, higher analytical mind, and your open heart space. I'm very, very proud of you and how well you are taking care of things and just growing more independent by the day and listening to your own inner voice, which is the most important. I'm amazed at how strong you are and how much you've just grown in the last while. And thank you so much for allowing me to be free.
She would also like to know if you are at peace.
Yes, very, very much so. I'm much more at peace than I was. So thank you very much again for helping with that process. I love you very, very much. And I'm just here on the other side.
I just want to see if she comes with back to reply quick.
I do feel I want to let you know that even those that are confused and have tried to hurt you, those that are wounded, especially from my family, not only from my family, but so many of the people that you've been interacting with that are wounded, they are on their own journey. And because of me being able to be more free, I'm actually able to help a lot more and guide my family members in a better way. So rest assured that you will be fine, that everything will work out. And whatever tests and trials you might face, it will make you stronger and better.
Jesus, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for speaking with me. Okay.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else?
That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, my love. He feels a lot lighter than the last time. It's amazing. Good progress. Who's next?
Cherise. Cherise would like the higher self.
Hi, Cherise. Okay. Cherise's higher self. I'm just going to ask Anthony to do a quickly. He does Reiki, for those of you who don't know. Thank you. Thanks. Perfect. Ready for the next one. Okay. Cherise's higher self. After Cherise's questions, I would like to just invite the rest of you, or whoever, if you've already had a turn, that's also okay. But I'd like to invite you to ask some questions for the collective. So if you have any questions about the universe or 3D, 5D beings, anything else, please feel free, because I feel like we will have a bit of time to do some questions for the collective. Okay. Hi, Cherise. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Cherise would like a message from you. She says she'd like a message for the week going to the office for the first time.
Cherise, you just be you. Just be excellent. Be fabulous. Be who you are. Speak through love. Speak through love, and the only real thing besides that that I feel is important for you to consider and think about is that sometimes it's not always necessary to share the information that you're receiving or the things that you notice. Sometimes it's just information for you to know what's going on. So even in a workplace, in an office space like the one where you will be working, people have their own dramas and stories and things going on. Sometimes when you become aware of something, perhaps an encouraging word or something, you don't have to say that you know what's going on, but just an encouraging word can help. And sometimes when you see that people are wounded and perhaps not always doing the right thing, it's not always necessary for you to get involved in that. Um, that being said, there are times that you can get involved without direct confrontations. Sometimes you can actually just use your abilities in connection by sorting it out in 5D, by going into the fifth dimension and sorting it out there. So when you do have time, when you do feel the need to, make sure that you clear yourself and that you connect with your higher self, with me and with spirit, with fifth dimension, so that you can get the answers that you need. And this doesn't only go with working with colleagues and communicating with people, but also in some of the problems that you have to solve as part of your work. So make sure that every morning you set your goals and set your intention that you want for the day. You can also set your intention for the week, of course. And as you set your intention for the day, just envision or picture or sense that it will go well. And believe in that and believe in yourself and don't let anybody get you down. You will be aware of people whispering and speaking and saying things, but just remember that's their business. It's got nothing to do with you. Whatever they might be saying about you or other people, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's their beliefs, their judgments. It's not what you believe about yourself or what the people, other people that they're talking about, believes about themselves. So as long as you do not take that to heart, you stand firm in who you are and believe in yourself and just love yourself, you will be absolutely fine. Always think with your heart first, if that makes sense. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any more questions.
Thank you. I just want to see if they can reply.
Just be fabulous.
She says thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so now we've got a few people who didn't do hearts, but I think they came in later, so they didn't know what to do.
Okay.
But they're not asking anyone specific, except for Mello. Mello's asking someone specific at the end.
Is he next?
No, he's not next. But I'm just wondering if we shouldn't ask all these questions to that specific being. I don't know.
Swaruu.
It,
Is that correct, Mela? Swaruu? Is that how you pronounce that? So we're going to also ask all the questions to...
yeah, I mean, Renee's got some personal questions, but she hasn't asked anyone specific.
Okay.
But they're some life purpose kind of questions.
Okay. I do think it's important that we spend a bit of time asking more for questions for the collective. So if it will help the collective. Okay. All right. So for those of you that joined a little bit later, I usually select the first 3 people who type in 3 pink hearts in the chat. So if your personal questions didn't get answered tonight, please hold on to them. Next week is another chance. Just type 3 pink hearts into the chat box as soon as you log on, and then your questions will get answered first. I do feel it's very important, especially tonight, to really focus on the collective now. Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, Mella's one's not really collective. It's just a interesting question.
Yeah, that is for the collective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely for the collective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not personal.
Yeah, exactly. It's not personal.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
He says yes. That's how you say it.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Swaruu. Swaruu, please come through. Highest, purest energy. Thank you. The highest good of all. Wow. Definitely very light. A lot of light. Pure energy. Very pure white energy. Pure light energy. Stunning. Okay. Greetings, Melo, and all the other fellow humans that are watching, and non-humans that are watching.
Hi.
You're all welcome, and you're all invited to learn from this.
Great. Thank you. We've got a few questions for you. Mela would like to know, do public figures and celebrities get affected more by people's attention and energy on them?
Yes, definitely. Some people that are in the public arena have learned how to deal with this, however, and some people are in that arena so that they can learn to deal with it. But certainly it does affect them. Just as in a religious scenario, for example, when a lot of people are coming together and praying, for example, to the same energy, then that creates a very strong energetic signature. And the law of attraction, as well as many of the other universal laws, are put into practice. So certainly in the same way, if you think about celebrities like Britney Spears, Johnny Depp, those people that have been through a lot of turmoil and have been in the Elon Musk, they've been in the limelight quite a lot recently, or in the newspapers headlines. There are, of course, many different celebrities, but they are definitely, it definitely adds to the pressure in a sense, depending on whether the energy coming to them is positive or negative, obviously. So for some, it feeds them. If it's a lot of positive energy coming to a specific celebrity, a specific person, then it will feed them and it will be good for them. And of course, if it's a lot of negative attention and energy, it can also create a lot of negative things going on. But as you have probably gathered, or as you can surmise, sometimes those negative things, or those, all that attention is really there to sort of shine the light on the shadow part that person still has to work on. Or in fact, sometimes it's not only for that own person's work and lessons that they have to go through, but that they're like an avatar, an example for the collective, or for the people that are part of their collective. So the lessons that they are going through, or the things that they are learning, are often what needs to be learned by a lot of people that are busy paying attention to them. I hope it makes sense the way that I explained that.
It does. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And then someone's asking, I don't know how to say their name, Rirak is asking, can we have a deep insight about old souls subject?
A deep insight
About old souls subject. A lot of people sometimes say, no, that's an old soul, or you've got an old soul there.
I think it's important to note that when people recognize an old soul, it is very much related to the earth plane, this dimension and this time space. So the old soul is someone who's lived many lives on earth specifically and experienced many different experiences here. So there are many people that are also not, who don't feel like an old soul. It doesn't mean that their soul hasn't been there for a very long time, as most being souls have been. It just means they have spent more time elsewhere, perhaps, than here, or perhaps it's their first time here. So old souls got a lot more to do with those individuals that have spent a lot of time here on this plane. I hope that makes sense. Please do ask for more clarification if you need it.
Okay, thank you. We'll see if they come back with any more clarifications. This might be a good question. Someone here, Renee, was asking, when you talk about the collective, what do you mean exactly? So I think that might be a good thing for you to explain to us from your perspective what the collective is.
Okay, so the collective we are specifically speaking about tonight, or when we speak in these sessions, we are talking usually about the human collective. So all the people on Earth, everybody that is forming part of the humans on Earth forms a sort of group or circle, if you like, and that is a collective. That is not to say that that is the only type of collective or the only collective group that there are. I, for example, form part of a bigger collective myself, and many beings that come through here come through not only as one individual being, but as many beings that are coming together, speaking to the human collective, the human group of people on Earth. A collective, of course, can also refer to a smaller group of people. So, for example, those of us that are here right now, tonight, in this group together, we can also be seen as a collective because our higher selves are coming together and we are communicating with other beings or other higher selves, like me, and we are forming our own smaller collective. So it's really just a term to describe a sort of group of people coming together energetically or spiritually and doing some work, sharing information.
Great, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Mela would like to know, how is the progress with the liberation of humanity?
It is well on track. There are, of course, a lot of I'm being shown, sorry, Michelle here, I'm being shown, I understand what they're trying to say, but it's like the words are not coming through, but it's like a push and pull, or like higher, lower energy, or you could see it as dark and light, although it's not really that obtuse. It's just that there's a lot of sort of this happening, if that makes sense, but it's going kind of up. So that's kind of what I'm being shown. Let me just let Swaruu come through again. Yes, exactly. So there are a lot, as the energy is changing, as more and more people in the human collective are awakening, and as more and more walk-ins happen and more light beings and higher dimensional beings come incarnate into human bodies as well to come and help the collective. There's a lot of push and pull happening, as Michelle so eloquently put it. It is mostly going up and progressing, and it is accelerating, and it is happening more and more. But because of that, for that reason, there's also a lot of resistance happening. Resistance from certain groups of people. Obviously, the ones that are in power are trying to push very hard to get control back over the human race and their seat of power, if you like. So they're really trying very hard in every single way to keep that control and to tighten the control. However, more and more people are breaking free. And of course, there's a lot of resistance happening on an individual level as well, because as people are being shown their shadow parts and being asked to work on themselves and going through tests and lessons, a lot of people are in resistance. But the resistance is not necessarily a negative thing. It is a negative thing in what you resist, you persist. That saying that so many people like to use. So it is a negative thing if one stays there. But the first step in going from complete compliance to just following like a sheep and then starting to resist things, even if that resistance is not maybe always placed where it needs to be, it is a step forward. Just as someone who is in deep depression, for example, when they're able to get a bit of that fire and passion back and start being willing to fight for themselves again, usually the next step is anger. So it doesn't always go direct. It's not always a direct path from sad to happy. So there's resistance happening in individuals and in certain groups of people as they're fighting for their freedom. But this is a step in the right direction, if that makes sense. So you will see a lot of conflicts and a lot of factions that are sort of becoming more polarized. And this is all due to the fact that things are progressing and are moving forward. Of course, if you are looking for what is good and what is positive and what is raised, you will see that and notice that. So, and that will also help to motivate you and help you to grow. So very, very important to become aware of yourself and your journey and where you are currently, because as each individual, wherever they may be in their journey or in that path of awakening, it is important to become aware and work on yourself and move forward. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you. It makes perfect sense. The next question, I know that Michelle has gone in depth with this, but perhaps you can just give us a short answer for it, just for the people that have joined us for the first time tonight. Rirak, I think that's how you say his name, would like to know, how can we get in contact with our higher self and guides?
Okay, that is a very good question. It is always advised that you practice connecting with your higher self first. Of course, our guides are very helpful, and it's important to have guides. I am one of those people that is a guide for many and for the human collective as a whole. But you are advised to always try and connect to your higher self first. And the first most important step is to get yourself in a place of calm. Get your mind quiet and still. So whichever techniques may work for you, whether it's a meditation, a guided meditation, frequency music. Of course, the easiest way to get there is through breathing deep belly breaths. This helps most people because your breath activates your energy, and it activates your energy flow in your body. So therefore, it activates certain parts of your brain. So what you ideally want on a physical level is to get into a calm state and a brainwave state that is going to be most conducive for communicating either with your higher self or with the spirit world. So getting into that theta brainwave state is obviously the most conducive to that kind of communication. Just as Michelle, when she's allowing us to speak through her, or allowing me to speak through her right now. She has to get into that theta brainwave state and get into that calm state, a kind of self-hypnosis in order to, and letting go of everything. And really, you'll know when you're there in that space, when you're no longer concerned with past or future. You're just right here, right now, in the moment, and nothing else matters. You're present. You're right here. So that is the first most important step, is just to become calm, quiet, present, and letting go of all of those worries and niggly things. And then the next step is really just to open up your heart. Just feeling your heart opening up in that sort of a relaxed, safe space, making sure you're feeling safe and grounded. And if you need to ground yourself, connect with Mother Earth, first getting into that calm state, and then you'll be able to communicate much more effectively once you're grounded. So getting calm and being grounded is much of a muchness, is very much related to each other, but you need both of those things to be able to reach those high vibrational levels. And of course, whoever you're communicating with, it will be the easiest for you to actually communicate with your higher self. But people often take it for granted because they're thinking it's their own thoughts. And of course, in a way, it is. Your higher self is going to speak to you through your highest mind. Your lower mind, your ego mind, is the one that brings in the doubts and the fears and the anger and all of those lower vibrational energies, where your higher mind of your higher self brings in the higher vibrational, peaceful, loving energies. So that is when you know. So if you allow yourself, once you're in that calm space, just to breathe and then focus on your heart, focus on your solar plexus, that area between your heart space and your navel, and just feeling your heart opening up, allowing that 0 point energy field to connect with the whole of creation, all of source energy, connecting to the soul soup, and for your solar plexus to open up, where you can feel your strength, your inner power, the higher you, if I can put it that way. Your higher self is your soul, the higher you. And it might feel like a different being. It might feel like it's floating above you. It might feel like it's behind you and comfortable. It might feel, you might feel it very strongly in a specific part in your body, like your solar plexus. Some people feel tingling and all kinds of different ways. Everybody experiences it in a little bit of a different way, but it will kind of feel like another being, but part of you. Yeah, and then for spirit, depending on who you want to speak to, there are different ways to connect. Michelle often has workshops in this. A mediumship workshop could really help you. But the truth is, it's about just connecting to the specific frequency of whichever being or spirit you would like to speak to. And if you want to speak to your own spirit guides, all you really have to do is just say a little invocation. All you have to do is make sure that you are grounded, cleared, and of course protected. And then ask your spirit guides to join you. If you are not sure if a guide is a true spirit guide, because there are mischievous spirits who sometimes want to have a laugh at your expense, or maybe can even cause some harm to you, that is because you've allowed it and you've opened yourself up in that way. So if you are not sure whether you are speaking to a true spirit guide or whether who you are speaking to is not 100% sure, if you're not 100% sure about that, always follow your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. And you can ask the following as well. You can ask the being, are you from the light? And ask it 3 times. If that being can say yes all 3 times, and you have a good feeling and a peaceful feeling, it feels there's nothing malicious or something that just feels a little bit off, it just feels good, then you're fine, then you're in good hands. And of course, part of this, just inviting that highest, purest energy to come through. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question from Iraq. He wants to know, why do some people experience near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences?
This is also a very good question. So part of this is really just for the person who it's happening to realize that there's more than just this three-dimensional experience, to realize that that person is bigger than just that physical body and that physical person that they think they are. Sometimes it goes a bit further, and it's to communicate with source or with other higher dimensional beings. But in essence, it usually comes down to the fact that that person needs that experience to open them up to what is there. So it's a kind of a way, a tool to awaken someone, to help awaken someone. And very often, I would say this is usually about 95% of the time that this is something that this person has decided to experience before they came into this body, as a way to help them wake up so that they can move into their purpose. And other times it is when that person has other times it's that person's guides or higher self that brings that about, when the person's not waking up and not seeing what they need to see. But most of the time, that person has chosen to have this experience in this lifetime, or experiences, so that they can connect with who they need to connect to, most often themselves or source energy.
Great, thank you very much. And then I've got a question. I don't know how relevant it is or not, but I'm interested in...
Okay, this will be the last question.
Yes, will be the last question, yes.
Okay.
I'm interested in other races that are not on Earth. So my question for you about them, because I know there's probably lots and lots of them.
Millions.
Yes, I want to know, do other races also have religions like the Earth people do?
Certainly.
Okay.
There are many, many different races and beings out there, and some of them are wild, like wild animals, in wild worlds, and very uncivilized. Some of them have created societies and have got certain beliefs and religious experiences. Of course, they could be in their own fake matrix, just as we are here. But Earth is the most, it is important to note that there are those, so let's just talk about religion here a little bit. So on Earth, religion has been used, even though there are spiritual aspects to all religions and there's universal truths in all the different religions. Religion has been used on Earth, all different kinds of religions, not just one or two, have been used as a way to keep control of people and to keep people, it's a way of controlling people in this three-dimensional reality, especially this fake matrix here on Earth, this not the natural true matrix, but the fake one, if that makes sense. I'm not sure how many people are aware of the fact that there's a specific holographic experience that's been imposed on people in this three-dimensional reality. But that is the religions here, especially the bigger ones, are used to keep people in this so that they don't transcend the three-dimensional experience, so that they stay in that three-dimensional experience. So they use religion to keep people in fear and especially fear. Fear is the biggest way to keep people stuck here. So fear is a very limiting energy, and that is used specifically in many different ways, not only religion, to keep people trapped here. So I just want to make a very clear distinction. When we speak about religion, there is that sort of controlled way of practicing religion. And of course, then there's the more spiritual side. So there are other beings and races on other planets that are maybe experiencing a similar kind of control, maybe just on a bit more of a smaller scale. Here on Earth, it's a really intense, and it's a very, it's been a very long, in terms of Earth timeline, it's been a very long, drawn out experience. But in many other places, there might be smaller experiences like that, where people are being kept in control, and perhaps they even signed up for that experience, if that makes sense. But there are also those that have formed certain, because if you really think about the word religion, or the concept of religion, sometimes it's a series of rituals or things like that, and beliefs. Just the rituals are more used to help people to experience a more spiritual experience. So yes, as there are millions and millions of different races and beings and civilizations and wild worlds and highly advanced worlds, is all different kinds, everything from completely wild and raw to the most highly spiritual places. There's different levels of what people perceive as religion. But perhaps those more spiritual religions are much more based on spirituality than that sort of strict, rigorous rules, but more where it's more guidelines. So it's a very wide category, but certainly people have got beliefs and different traditions and things that they practice.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. It's been really edifying and wonderful speaking to all of you, and I hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you, Mela, for requesting to speak with me tonight. I am very thankful that I can be here and communicate with all of you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Sure. Wow. That was amazing. Most enlightening. Really, really wonderful energy. Thank you, Swaruu. Thank you for everybody who came through tonight. Thank you for everybody for asking personal questions as well as the questions for the collective. I really appreciate that you've taken time to be here tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week, and that you sleep really, really well tonight. I will see you again next week. Me and Anthony will see you again next week.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you. Oh dear. It doesn't want to end. End.
Oh no, we have to stay here all night.
We're going to stay here forever.
Okay, we'll try again. Not yet. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Well, we're stuck here.
I wonder if we are stuck here.
I wonder what will happen if we close the window.
We keep recording us.
Do you think it will keep recording?
Let's